garden. We're here in my backyard on this beautiful May day. And in this episode, we're going to learn about why the Statue of Liberty is green. This week, we're learning about American symbols. So we talked about the Statue of Liberty and what she means to people in America. So, have you ever wondered why the Statue of Liberty is this green color? Well, today, since we're doing a science experiment, I wanted to talk about the question we're asking. And it is just what I said to you. Why is the Statue of Liberty green? Isn't she made of copper? And isn't copper a brown color? So why would a statue made of copper or coated in copper be green? Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna do a Statue of Liberty green experiment. Okay, so remember our scientific question. Why is the Statue of Liberty green? Well, as we learned earlier in the week, the Statue of Liberty is made or coated with copper. And copper is the same thing that pennies are made out of. So here's a regular old copper penny. You probably have some of these laying around at home. And it's this brownish color. But I'm going to show you today how to take this brown penny and turn it into a green penny. It might be a little hard to see out here, but you can kind of see on this one, you can see that greenish color. And that's what happens to the Statue of Liberty. And we're gonna find out why by conducting an experiment. So let me show you the ingredients or the supplies you need to do this experiment. Okay, now to do this experiment, you might already have everything you need at home, but let me tell you what you need. You need white vinegar, you need salt, and some pennies. And you also need a measuring spoon. This is 1 teaspoon. And you need a measuring cup because you're gonna need 1/4 of a cup of the white vinegar. And then some bowls to put your pennies in with this solution we're gonna make. Okay, so let's mix our solutions. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna measure out 1/4 of a cup of this white vinegar. Okay, so this is 1/4 of a cup. Let me turn it around so you can see. And you wanna fill it to that line next to the 1/4, which is 1/4 of a cup. And I'm gonna pour it in my bowl. And I have 2 bowls here because I wanted to test this experiment out with 2 different types of salt, just to see if there's any sort of a different outcome. Let me measure the 1/4 of a cup again. Make sure when you're measuring something, you lay your tool on a flat surface like a table to make sure you get the exact measurement you want. And I'm a little short, so I'm just gonna do a little splash to try to get it up. Perfect. And I'm gonna add that to my other bowl. So now I just have 2 bowls with 1/4 of a cup white vinegar. Next, I'm gonna add my salt. So in this first dish, I'm gonna use this pink Himalayan sea salt. Okay, can you see the pink color? And I want it to be a level teaspoon. So what that means is I get a teaspoon, I scoop it up, and you can see it has a big mountain or a big mound of salt. That's too much. That's not a level teaspoon. So I just take my finger and brush it straight across to get 1 level teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt. You don't have to have this salt at home to do this experiment, but I have it and I wanted to test it out. In my other dish, I'm using kosher salt. Kosher salt's a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna be really careful and pour slowly, whoa, to try to get that level teaspoon. Now remember, experiments can get a little messy, so you might have some cleanup to do, which is why I'm doing it outside. So there's my 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and I'm gonna add it into the vinegar. And now I'm gonna stir until it dissolves. And I don't wanna mix any of this solution with this, so I'm gonna end up getting a different spoon to mix the pink Himalayan sea salt in, okay? Okay, now our salt and vinegar solutions are ready They're pretty dissolved. The salt is dissolved into the vinegar, which means we can't see the granules of salt as much anymore. So it's ready. That's how I know it's ready for us to dip our pennies in. You also need a paper towel. I forgot to tell you that as one of the supplies you need. So we're asking the question, why is the Statue of Liberty green? And she's made of copper. And here we have a salt solution with some vinegar. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a penny, okay? And remember, our pennies are also made of copper and they're that brown color. So I'm gonna dip this penny in halfway into our salt and vinegar solution just so you can see what happens, okay? I'm only gonna dip it halfway and I'm gonna count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as you can see, half the penny is shiny and clean or cleaner, and the other half is still that kind of dingy brown color. Okay, so we're gonna set this penny, actually we're just gonna drop this one in here. And I'm gonna put 3 pennies in here, and I'm gonna put 3 pennies in my other salt solution with the Himalayan sea salt. Now the Himalayan sea salt doesn't quite dissolve the same as the kosher salt, but it's pretty well dissolved in there. Other minerals in there too. Okay, so now that this is done, we're gonna let it sit for 10 minutes and then we'll come back and check on it. All right, so it's been 10 minutes and it's time to take our pennies out of the salt solution, salt and vinegar solution. So let's take a look and see if they look any different. They kind of look a little bit cleaner. So I'm gonna pull this one out first. This is the one that is in the Himalayan sea salt. And over here, let me dry my fingers, are the ones that are in the kosher salt. Now, right now, do you see any difference? Are they green? They are not green yet. So what needs to happen is they need to sit overnight so that the air and the oxygen start touching and affecting the pennies. And I'll explain what happens now. After one night of waiting, let's see what our pennies look like. So come over here and take a look. Here are 3 pennies that were in the vinegar and the Himalayan sea salt solution. Can you see how green that one is? Might be hard to see. And over here are the pennies that sat in the kosher salt and the vinegar. You can see they are turning green, just like the Statue of Liberty. So now, to answer the question, why is the Statue of Liberty green? And the answer is, drum roll, oxidation. Say oxidation. Good job, clap it out. Oxidation. Wow, 4 syllables in that word. So what happens is, the Statue of Liberty is near the ocean, the salty sea water, and initially, when it came to America, it came in over 300 pieces on big ships, and they put it together, and it was this brown color because it was coated with copper. But in about, over the course of 20 to 30 years, it started to turn green, which is what you see today. You see a big green statue of the Statue of Liberty. And what has happened is, over time, the Statue of Liberty has been exposed to the salty sea water, and when the water has mixed with the air, it has created or affected the copper in this way. And this green color is actually something called patina, and it's a coating that grows over the top or goes over the top of the copper, and it actually protects the copper from eroding away or coming apart. So it's actually protecting it. But that's why it turns green. So oxidation in this case is when the water and the air have mixed together to affect the copper. It's the effect that it has on the copper. Okay, so if you want to try this experiment at home, you just need those few supplies I show you. But before we go away, I want to tell you a couple more interesting facts about the Statue of Liberty. So we already know she holds a torch in her hand. The very top of the torch is covered with gold leaf. Okay, and the reason they put the Statue of Liberty in the harbor of New York City is so that people who were coming to America would see this. This would be the first thing they would see, and it signified hope for people who were coming here to start a new life and to be able to live a nice, free life. So that's part of her symbolism. And also, she has 7 pointy sort of like thorns on her crown, and that represents or stands for the 7 seas, or our 7 continents of the world. Remember, we learned about 7 different continents, and we live in North America. Also, the Statue of Liberty is based off of a Roman goddess named Libertaris. Libertaris. Let me look. Oh, Libertas. I wanted to make sure I tried my best to pronounce it right. So that's who she's based off of, and Libertas is a Roman goddess for liberty. Remember, it's freedom. So there's some more information for you. I thought you might like to know about the Statue of Liberty and why she's important, and most importantly today, why she is green. Have a great afternoon.